From the studio of WTAP Plus, you're watching Women of the MOV with host Phyllis Smith.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Women of the Mid-Ohio Valley. Today, I am with LYNDSAY Dennis, the Arts Bridge Executive Director. Hello, LYNDSAY. How are you?
Hello, I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Good. So, can you tell me a little bit how you got started at Arts Bridge?
Yes, so I'm actually getting ready to start year 5. I was at the Parkersburg Art Center prior to that. I knew after having my son, when I went back to work, that I wanted to do something that allowed me to be mom first still. And so I found that job at the Art Center, and he was able to go to preschool there, and it was wonderful. And I was there for about 7 years and had kind of done a little bit of everything there and saw the executive director position open up at Arts Bridge, and I didn't put in for it. And then I was like, why didn't I do that? And about 4 months later, it came open again. And I was like, now's my time. Yeah. I'm going to try. And so I submitted my application and didn't hear anything for about 2 weeks and thought, oh, okay, they found somebody. And then I got a call and I got interviewed, and the rest was history.
It's 5 years later.
No, it's 5 years later. We hit the ground running.
So I know that we have Arts Bridge on kind of frequently, but if people don't know what Arts Bridge is, can you kind of explain what it is?
Yeah, so we're a nonprofit arts organization based out of the Mid-Ohio Valley. We actually serve 6 counties through some of our programs. We run 14 programs year-round. Our mission is to educate, entertain, and enrich. So that is our goal in all of the programs that we put out there. A lot of people probably know us for our summer music series, which is happening right now every Thursday in the city park. We have a lot of fun with that, and that actually acts as a fundraiser for us to be able to do a lot of the other programs that we're able to do. We have in-school programs, after-school programs, community programs, and entertainment programs like the summer music series, and we also do the winter music series in the mall. And a lot in between. We're always busy.
Yes, and Arts Bridge, is that in downtown Parkersburg, their office?
Yes, we're actually, it's been a little over a year now. We purchased a location. It was the old visitor center on the corner of Avery and 7th Street. And so we are there now, that blue building on the corner.
Oh, so that where the CVB used to be. And now the CVB is down by the
They are down by the
flood
flood wall, yeah. They've got a wonderful space, but I'm so glad they left their previous space for us.
Before, like right on Market, was that?
Yeah, we were right on Market across from, well, kind of catty-cornered to where the Discovery World is now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so is every day kind of different at Arts Bridge?
Every day is different. Every week is different. We go from any program you're seeing us actively run, we're running probably 2 or 3 behind the scenes in preparation for those to get started. So by the time we end one, we're ready to start another one. And those 14 programs get operated year round.
And do you have a very big staff?
We do not.
Yeah, so it was small. Like,
yeah.
Is it 2 or 3 people?
Yes, so I'm the only full-time person, and then I have 3 part-timers, and we actually just hired a 4th part-timer. So I have a program coordinator. You might have seen her on the morning news. She'll fill in when Joe and Jeff can't. It's Kelsey Allum. And I have an arts education coordinator, Paula Oliverio, and then our community outreach coordinator is Mary Smith, and then we just hired a young gal. Her name is Kylie, and she's the president of the art club at WVUP, and she's in college right now to get a business degree and an art degree, and we're really excited to have her on board.
Great. And your undergrad, did you go to school? I know you're from Belpre. Did you go to school in the area?
So I tried college a few times, didn't really know what I wanted to do. I got into banking and worked in banking for almost 8 years. And in that time, I kind of moved up and worked different positions, and I got to a point to where I couldn't get any more promotions or any other positions without certain degrees. So I went back to school and was pursuing my accounting degree, and then my husband and I found out we were pregnant, and I couldn't fathom going back to work full time after having him, so I was able to stay home with him for 2.5 years, and that's when I found the job at the Art Center. So my business and accounting degree has served me well in the back end of what I'm doing now with Arts Bridge as the executive director, but it's not anywhere where I thought I was going when I was working in banking.
Isn't that interesting how you kind of like do one thing, but then you wind up maybe doing something else?
Yeah. And in high school, I loved art. I took all the art classes I could, and I still do art in my everyday life, but I never knew that was something you could really turn into a career around here. So that's why I went kind of the numbers way, the business way. So when I was able to find that job in the arts, that really helped me kind of come out of my shell and figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up.
Yeah. And is ArtsBridge, is that a nonprofit?
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
do you have to do like a lot of grant writing? And
Yes, that is a big portion of the job. So I would say about 52% of our income is grant funding, and the rest is funded by donations and sponsorships from area businesses and individuals who believe in the mission of what we do and support the arts in the area. So
Now, does ArtsBridge go across the river into
we do.
Ohio?
Yep, we are
Oh,
in
okay.
Washington County also.
Oh, okay.
I would say probably about 30% of our programs are put on through Washington County, and they're a big portion of who we serve in our area. So.
Oh, and you're also on Belfry City Council.
I am, yes. I
Yeah.
just started my third term, their 2-year term.
Oh,
So
wow.
I started way back in 2022, the year before, 2022.
Yeah, kind of, I guess when COVID was all that was kind of
Yeah.
wrapping up.
Yeah,
so-
time flies.
Yeah. And then we were kind of talking a little bit before the podcast. You want to run for mayor
That's,
eventually?
yep, grand plan. Eventually, I would like to do that. So
2032?
2032,
It sounds
yeah.
so far away, but it's
It'll
truly
be
not.
here. So I really, our current mayor, man, she's a spitfire. I love her vision. I love the work she's doing. It makes it easy to sit on council when there's transparency, and we all work together so well. And so she's taken me under her wing a little bit and lets me in on some of the day-to-day and gives me tips and advice. And so I know I'll lean heavily on her when that time comes of, hey, how did you handle this? But that's always been a goal of mine. It kind of started out as a joke, but it's turned into something that I really want to pursue someday. So
Yeah.
I think it could be really interesting.
What inspired you to join or run for council?
So I've always been interested in politics, and I really think that change comes from the little man up. And so when you're involved in things at the city level, I think that translates into a bigger picture. What you're doing at a city level can affect what you're doing at a county level and beyond. And it's these people that are going and fighting for their areas and at these bigger tables that help enact change. And so I've always been interested in politics, but my mother-in-law ran for office several years ago when my son was first born, and I helped on her campaign. And getting to meet a lot of the individuals that were involved in that and how she presented herself and the things that she got to go do, I just thought that was really neat. And before I decided to run for council, there were some seats open, so I did some research and I learned a little bit more about the process and sat in on some of those meetings, and somebody reached out and said, would you be interested in running for council? And I was like, I would consider it. Walk me through it. Tell me what that's going to be like. And I decided to jump in both feet. I got my signatures, I submitted my petition, and I was officially on the ballot. And that was really cool when I went to vote that day and saw my name on that ballot.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever get over how surreal that feels each and every time.
And you won the first time?
I won my first time, yep. I had an opponent, and I think we ran really good campaigns, and it came out favorably, and the rest has been history. So I've ran 2 more times since then and have won, and yes, so it's been really great.
Was it a learning curve to kind of learn like
Yeah.
procedures? for
Yeah,
council and
it was
things
a
like
whole
that?
new world,
Yeah.
and Robert's Rules of Order and all of that, like looking into, we have a law director, so he kind of guides us, he actually guides us through a lot of the processes and the legal part of things, but learning what it means to appropriate funds for a city that operates as highly as we do, and then also to create legislation or edit legislation and update legislation that maybe hasn't been updated in 30 years. So it's really a labor of love because it's the city you live in, and you know it's someday going to impact maybe not us right now, some of the decisions we're making, but it's going to impact our kids and when they're grown and they're living in that community. And I know that there were people before me that made decisions that impacted me, whether it be through school or through the community I live in. So I just want to be a part of that change, and I want it to be a positive change.
And, you do that on top of, ArtsBridge. Like, I think that's a really interesting thing that council members, like, that's not usually their full-time job. It's, like, on top of what you're already juggling.
When I first got on council, I was the youngest member. I think there was one that still had a full-time job, and then most of them were retired.
Right.
It's a more blended group of individuals now. Since then, some younger folks have ran, and I don't want to say I encouraged that, but I did kind of reach out and talk to some people, and so a good friend of mine decided to run, and he has a seat on the council now. So I think it's a good blend of individuals with different perspectives, different backgrounds, different situations in life. Some of us have kids that are in school, some of us have kids that are graduated, and so we can look at a well-rounded picture and bring all of our ideas to the table and offer different perspectives in the decision-making process.
I know Susan Abdallah is the mayor. Obviously, she's a woman. Are you the only woman on council at Belfry?
No, there's another one. Her name is Penny Riffle, and she's wonderful. And then prior to her, Erica was on. She filled a vacant seat, and she's now our auditor for the city of Belfry. And then Susan sat on council before she ran for mayor.
Right. But yeah, like you're saying, it's good to have a lot of different opinions, different objectives. I know we covered the golf cart ordinance a little bit.
Yes.
And those e-bikes are like a big thing right now. Or those, like, they even motorized like bicycles.
Yeah,
Those
the
are really
electric bikes and the electric dirt bikes and things like that. And
those have exploded.
yeah, they're very popular right now.
And kids just, like are blowing past stop signs and they're
Yeah.
crashing them. And
Yeah, I saw that, I think, in Vienna yesterday,
Yes, and they're
something on the
getting,
news.
like,
and
hurt, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is, like you're saying, you have to update,
Yes.
legislation for,
Yeah.
Yep,
Yep, and we've updated the golf
carts.
cart legislation a few times. Just as you, after you implement something, you always learn things, or situations come up that you didn't even think might happen. And so
Right.
sometimes you have to go back and edit those and update them. And
Lots of amendments
Yes.
and things like that. But it is interesting to watch, like the procedure of local government,
Yes.
And I remember I covered a council meeting one time and I was like, what are they talking
nothing happens
What are they
quickly.
saying?
And so when I first started, the different readings and all of the things you have to say, that was kind of confusing because we'd have to go back and say, well, you didn't say the second reading, or you didn't say that this was amended. And so that's kind of a learning curve to get used to understanding the process and why you have to read it on 3 separate times. But a lot of that is so community members have an opportunity to sit in on those meetings, and it's not any quick decision, and you have time to make those edits and fix those errors and things like that. So it is not a quick process, but we always hope that it's an efficient and thorough process.
And you said the mayor kind of took you under her wing, and
Yeah.
kind of, that's good. I
Yep.
think it's important for women to find a mentor,
Yes,
so that somebody, can help kind of walk you through it. And,
I agree.
And help
I
you.
hope to be that mentor for a young lady someday.
Yeah, and if you were to be the next mayor, that would be,
Mhm.
keeping the tradition of the female mayor. Because I know Mayor Lorenz was the mayor for a really
I think
long
16
time.
years. Yeah. And there was only one other female mayor in Belpre, and I think that was 30 plus years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I know the summer concert series, Arts Bridge. Is there anything else that's kind of coming up, or any new initiatives you have going on?
This is our 40th anniversary year.
Oh, really? Wow.
So we are planning in October, on October 3rd, we're doing a dueling pianos event. So I've actually been planning this since last year because I knew last year this was our 40th year. So I'm like, what can we do that's different? Artsbridge used to do galas and have big events for all of their supporters to come and just be together and celebrate and get to know one another, put a face to the name. And so I'm like, let's bring that back this year. And so we're doing the dueling pianos. It's a fundraising event for Artsbridge. It's a 2-hour dueling pianos event, but then we'll have an hour before for dinner and mingling. We'll do a silent auction, 50-50, all the fun stuff. So we're bringing that back this year, and we're really super excited.
Is that at the Art Center?
We're going to do it down at the Resiliency Center.
Oh, okay.
Just because that's close to the neighborhood in which
That's
we
a great space.
live, and
Yeah.
so supporting the area that supports us.
Yes. And are you doing anything for America 250?
So we are. We actually are partnering with, it was somebody's idea in Belpre. There's a wall along Putnam Howe that had been painted and then got painted over. It's just been kind of refurbished, but nothing was ever done with it. And so a citizen had the idea to do a mural, and they reached out to me as executive director of Artsbridge and said, is there something we could do for that? And I was like, oh, well, now you've got the wheels turning. So it's full
Yeah.
steam ahead. So we are actually in the works of planning a mural for that. We put out 2 concepts and let the community vote on it. And I'm hoping to get started then this next weekend or so,
Oh,
getting it
nice.
outlined. Amy she had Everwild in Belpre, and she does hiking adventures and things like that. And she's who did all the artwork on the Arts Bridge building when we moved in. And so she's going to help me get it started and get it outlined. And then I'm going to ask the local art groups and things like that to come and help me get it painted. So it's truly a community effort. So we're going to do that. And then we're participating in a couple of the America 250 picnics and doing community art with them and crafts with families and things like that. So,
Wow, busy
yeah.
summer.
Yes.
So is Artsbridge, is that just something local, or are there Arts Bridges all over?
We are
country?
the only one in this area. There are other organizations named Artsbridge, but they are not a branch of us. They have their own mission and their own demographic that they serve. They just happen to have the same name.
Yeah, I didn't realize Artsbridge had such a long history.
Yeah, 40 years.
Wow.
So it was they came together, 3 counties came together. It was an art service agency before. And so it actually was an entity that granted to the other local arts organizations. And so when they came together, they wanted something more localized that focused on that. And so Artsbridge was born. And then as times change, they always do, things never stay the same for long. These art organizations were able to start supporting themselves and didn't need a funding agent or a middleman per se. So Artsbridge started offering more of their own programming and became its own arts organization through that process.
Oh, and so you jumped on in 2021, kind of.
It was, I want to say it was August of 2022.
Oh, okay.
I think,
So
yeah.
you didn't have to deal mostly with like the distancing and things.
No, that was
like
right
that.
after.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering if Artsbridge maybe had ever struggled, or you had to pivot, or.
They, from what I've seen just from looking through history things, they did a lot of virtual programming and things like that, and they put together packages and sent them to the schools. They couldn't do their VSA event in person, so they sent the packages to the local schools and things like that, and they kept the wheels going.
Yeah.
And they didn't, I don't think they really missed a beat. They really figured out how to divert and how to adapt to that situation.
Do you work closely with like other organizations?
We
pretty
do.
often? I'm
We-
guessing you have to collaborate a lot.
We partner as often as we can partner with local organizations. WVUP is a huge partner for us. They give us almost their whole college for us to operate our very spectacular arts event for a day. So during their spring break, we kind of take over and have about 350 students from all over our service areas come for a day completely curated for them to experience all mediums of art. We work a lot with the Parkersburg Art Center. We partner on as many things as we can. The Wood County Society, the Actors Guild. There's no one I won't ask if they're interested in partnering up and working on something together.
Now, do you have a board, or is it just?
We do. We
Oh,
have a
okay.
board of 18 right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So they operate as our volunteers. It's kind of a volunteer board, but they are a blend of unique individuals that really come to the table with good ideas and perspectives, so many different backgrounds, but that helps me in so many different ways because I'm not a lawyer. So some of the contracts I have to sign and things like that, I have to pick Jeff Greenlee's brain because he's a lawyer and he's on my board.
is he
and
really?
yes, and so
Wow.
IT and security, I have Greg Brewster who owns IDAP, which is a local company. He helps us with all of our security measures because a lot of what we do to plan and prep is, online. We have Canva and we have Facebook and all of those free tools that we can use as a nonprofit to help, soften the blow of what things cost. And so Christina Meyer is on our board, and she is who I go to when I have to pick brains about a lot of different things. But just a well-rounded group of people. Bill Haas is on my board. He's been on Artsbridge for as far as I can find back. He's my historian. So when I find things or I need to answer questions about if we've done this before, or how we did it, or how it got started, that's who I call. So many good people on the board that help me do what I'm able to do every day.
And you all do you do showcases? I feel like in the past, maybe.
We have the artist on tour,
Mhm.
and then we have the catalog of artists. So we bring artists that do performance events in the school systems and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like you got your hands in
In just about everything.
everything, yeah. And then And so back to City Council, I know they're building the hospital, the
Mhm.
women's hospital over
Yep.
there. That's like a big
Yes, that was a big
development.
deal. That was
Yeah.
fun too. When they announced, the hospital announced that and did their groundbreaking ceremony, that was a big deal for Belpre in general, that they chose that site to do it. And they've been, from what I have experienced, they've been great to work with. And so that's under construction now, and we're doing some road studies to see how that's going to impact traffic and things like that. But it seems to be going smoothly.
Yeah. Is there anything else in Belpre that's going on council that you think would interest people?
If they're interested in roads, we've got a plan for repaving some roads. Our water tower, our water tank project is underway. Just different infrastructure, things that you don't see, but that cost a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's always something. It's always something new. I'm the police and fire chair, so I get a non-voting seat on the City of Belpre EMS's board. So it's really interesting to see that side of things and how things operate. And I get to talk to the police chief a lot and get some insight on their processes and some of the things that they deal with and need. And so it's really an eye-opening thing to be a part of, because a lot of times it's things you don't think of when you're living in a city and just doing your day-to-day. Those behind the scenes things that go on that happen, you just know when you call 911 people are there.
Right.
And so it's really interesting to see the other side of how to make sure people are there.
Yes, and I'm sure you have the council meetings, but I'm sure you have to do stuff outside of those meetings.
Oh, there's always meetings, yes.
Yeah.
There's meetings for meetings for meetings.
And then outside of it, you've probably got to do things.
Well, I try to go to the ribbon cuttings, and I try to go to the community events. I think it's important for people who are involved to be seen and to meet people who are running other organizations that are doing great things for your city. And so I try to support everything that I can feasibly support and be at, especially because it's the community that I'm raising my son in. And so I want this to be a place that he wants to come home to, or maybe stay. I want him to go out and see things in the world, but I want him to want to come home. And so I think being a positive part of that progression and growing is important.
Yeah, and you're from Belpre.
Born and
too.
raised. Yeah, I actually live in the ward in which I grew up in.
Oh, really?
Yep. So I'm third
Wow.
ward councilwoman, and that's the ward I grew up in,
Oh,
just a few
wow.
neighborhoods over.
Wow. Now, did you leave Belpre and come back? Or
When
just
my
stay?
husband and I got married, we lived in a little rental right by his family farm in Fleming for a few years. And then as soon as we were ready to buy a house, it was always the understanding that I wanted to live in Belpre.
Yeah.
And it's convenient for work, and he
Yeah.
works for the railroad, so when we lived out in the country, it was a little longer of a commute for him, but it works really well. We love it.
And your husband, you feel like having a good partner is a big part of.
Yes,
Yeah.
having his support, and he's honestly my biggest cheerleader, and there's nothing that I've ever come home and said, I think I'm going to try this, that he hasn't said, okay,
Yeah.
go for it.
He's down
So,
for
and he
it.
knows if I'm probably going to do it anyway, but I have this thing in my brain of I could try that, I could figure that out, and so that's a
Yeah.
lot of how I get involved into what I do, but I should probably learn to say no sometimes, but I'll try anything once.
Sometimes I feel like women, sometimes I feel like we think, well, I have to know what I'm doing before I attempt it.
I don't, I just jump in. I'm
Yeah.
a professional winger.
Yeah.
I'll wing it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that mentality because
Yeah.
sometimes you don't. If you don't do it, then you
Yeah.
scare yourself out
Yeah.
of it. and-
I like to soak in knowledge. I read as much as I can read and try to experience as much as I can experience, just because you never know what door it might open.
Yeah. So you've always been interested in politics.
Since my mother-in-law ran, yeah, that really piqued my interest. I mean, I always liked the Law and Order shows and things
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it wasn't until I got that real-world experience watching her go through that that it really got me interested in what that would be like for
Yeah.
myself.
Is it hard to juggle it all? Being a mom, running Artsbridge, being on council.
It can be. I feel like I have to set boundaries, and so I color block my life. I know certain days I do certain things. Mondays are always committed to council unless there's an event or something to attend outside of that. But I know Mondays are my political days. And then, 9 to 4, Monday through Friday is my Artsbridge time unless we have an event outside of that. I serve on 5 different boards, so I
Oh,
color block my
wow.
time for that. But a lot of those are one meeting a month,
Oh,
so
okay.
that's doable. But
Mhm.
yeah, I've
What board are you on?
city.
Let's count them all.
I'm on the Convention and Visitors Bureau board. I just joined that one.
Oh.
I wanted Artsbridge to be represented. It's
Yeah.
the visitor center, so of
Absolutely.
course. City of Belpre EMS, non-voting member. Belpre Soccer Club, I'm their treasurer. The MOV Film Board, that was a new concept that just got formed last year, and they invited me as executive director of Artsbridge to sit on that. And the Washington Morgan County Community Action Board, which will be a tool in the tool belt for if I ever run for mayor.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
just color block it all.
Yep.
Yeah. I haven't heard of that before. I mean, I know of like scheduling and stuff, but
Yeah, I picture my brain as an internet browser with 87 tabs
Google
open.
Chrome, yeah.
Yes, with
Or
87
Firefox,
tabs
yeah.
open, and then you have your calendar pulled up, and you have all of your time slots in there, and they're all different colors based on
Yeah.
whether that's a home thing or a work thing. So
Yeah.
I just visualized my life in color blocks.
So have you ever? I feel like sometimes, like I know I've done this. I've like overloaded and I've like put too much stuff on my plate. How do you like find yourself doing that, or have you like struck a balance?
I
or-
have found myself doing that to where I have been involved in too many things, and I think it's an important quality in a leader to realize when you need to take a step back and give somebody else an opportunity to grow. And so I have stuffed off of boards before that were entirely more time consuming than I thought they were going to be, or they just grew to be that, which is great for that organization, but it outgrew me and what I was able to commit to them. So I think being a good leader is sometimes being able to recognize that you've got too much and being able to step off to the side and hand that over with grace and let somebody else have a new impact with a new perspective.
Yeah.
So I have
yeah.
had to do that a couple times.
It's hard to
Yeah.
say sometimes, like, oh, like I have
Yeah.
done too much. Like,
I don't need to do it all well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's true, and I'm sure it is hard to say no sometimes.
Yeah.
But
because, like I said, I'll try anything once because you never know what door it's going to open. So
Right.
sometimes it is hard to say no. And sometimes I can say, I can't do that right now, but I can make a connection for you
Right,
and keep me
right.
in the loop. And if you need a volunteer or something like that. So I've had to learn to kind of sort through what I can and cannot do.
yeah, and I feel like sometimes maybe overloading lets you know, like, oh, okay, this is my limit, or
Yeah.
like
And I like to be busy,
right.
but I
yeah.
also color block the time, my downtime. And like I know on Wednesday evenings I don't have anything going on, and that's
Yeah.
family
I think-
time.
Is it your email signature that's like respond when you have like
Yeah.
when that's good for you?
Yep,
and,
it's a
like-
well-being notice because I
Yeah.
will sometimes have an hour between 9 and 10 that I'm up and I'm ready to sit down and go through my email inbox because I hadn't had time through the day. Just because I'm sending somebody an email at 9 or 10 o'clock does not mean I expect a response. And I put that in there so they know, like, you can look at this or not and ignore it until a time that works for you.
Right.
Just because I'm sending this does not mean I need a response. So
Yeah, because it sometimes is hard, with the phone just being right there. You
Yes.
can always be dialed in.
yes.
And so, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was like reading that and I was like, oh yeah, like that.
Yep. And it's as much a reminder for myself as it is for anybody else, because sometimes I'll get an email that I feel like I need to answer right then, and it's, 8 o'clock at night, and I'm cleaning up the kitchen from having had dinner or whatever that might be, and I can't not look at my phone when I hear a ding.
Yeah.
But I've had to train my brain of like, you don't have to deal with this right now. That's
Right.
a tomorrow morning
Right.
issue.
Yeah.
So it's as much a reminder for me as it is for
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
emailing.
I had to reschedule this podcast interview with you, and you were.
I'm so go with the flow,
Yeah.
and I don't love anything more than
See?
a canceled plan. So I'm like, that freed up my evening and put it off on another day. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Thank you for rescheduling with me. That was nice.
I'm
of
so
you.
go with the flow, and I love when
Yeah.
people are that way. It just makes life easy.
Yeah, people that are chill.
Yeah.
It makes for a better. It's like a soft skill. I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes it can't be taught.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have to collaborate with a lot of different personalities too.
Oh yes,
so.
there are so many different personalities, and I feel like I'm a little bit of an empath. So sometimes I will absorb sometimes what I'm feeling from somebody else, and then I have to step back and be like, okay, am I experiencing this, or am I imagining that they're experiencing that? And I kind of have to separate that out, so I'm not like, oh my gosh, so
Yeah.
because it can be really easy to take all of that on. And
Right. Well, is there anything you would like to add? How old is your little son?
he's 12.
He's
He'll be
12.
13 this year,
Oh,
which is
okay.
crazy because I'm only like 28
Oh yeah.
with 10 years of experience.
Right. Me me too. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm sticking to.
Well, I'm sure he likes seeing, his mom.
I think he thinks it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be a part of a couple of things, even with his school, and I'll hear his buddies say something like, "That's your mom," and he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, especially
and I'm like,
when you're on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. We really appreciate. I've told a couple of the women that I interview. You all are very. You're willing to speak to us.
Yes.
And it would be very easy for you to kind of not answer our calls or not talk to us. Like, it probably would make your life easier. But we really do appreciate, because I think it's better. I think you all realize that it's like in the community's interest to be willing to speak. I know it's intimidating to speak in front of that camera.
Oh, it's probably my least favorite thing is to be interviewed or to talk publicly. But I know that that's how impact happens, when people see and know what's going on. And I base my life off of honesty and transparency. And so I have my city council woman page. And if I see people in certain Facebook groups talking about issues that are going on, and I have information that they wouldn't have readily available because they hadn't said it on the meetings or something like that, I'll highlight it on my Facebook page. And I try to be as transparent as possible without putting too much of me and my opinion in it, because my opinion isn't what's factual. I try to include the data and the why and how we got there. And I feel like anytime we do interviews or we do Daybreak, that's sharing what's going on. So to bring that back to ArtsBridge, a lot of what we do relies on people who will support us. And if they don't know what we're doing and they're not seeing us anywhere, where's the impact? So as much as I don't like public speaking and going on air and not knowing what might be asked or tripping over my words, and sometimes I feel silly after, like, oh, I can't believe I messed that up, but it's still getting the name of ArtsBridge out there. It's getting the mission of what we do, and it's letting people know this is in your area. We are rich with things to do in this area. And so if we can highlight that and get people to these different events that these organizations are putting on, that's why I love that we do Daybreak, and that's why I love that you guys are so invested in the community the way you are. It brings us all together.
Yeah, it's
and that's all I could hope for.
Yeah, we got you in the daytime and the nighttime.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Well, Lindsay, is there anything else
I think we covered a lot.
We've been talking for about a half hour, so
that flew by.
Yeah, it was really great.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you so much.
Well, that does it for this episode of Women of the MOV, and I'll see you all next time.